You have the books, but no time. You want to grow, but your mind is stuck in traffic. And when it's time to speak, you go blank or play small.
That is not failure. That is mental overload. And Smart Speakers Academy was built to fix that. I am Leslie Grace, the confidence coach, and I help you master 3 allied skills: smart reading, smart thinking, and smart speaking.
Because confidence is built on competency, and when you read smart, you unlock speed of thoughts to become the smartest person in any room.
Click the link you can see to unlock the smarter version of you. Of course, because when you read smart, you think smart. And when you think smart, you speak like a smart leader. This is your time. Let's build the smarter version of you. This is the smart world.
Why motivation doesn't help your reading and how to fix it. Hello and welcome to the Smart Short Break series, and I am Leslie Grace, the confidence coach. I help you master confidence, smartness through smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking. And today we're talking about why motivation doesn't fix your reading habit and how to fix it. Let me say this real quickly before we go ahead. Are you excited? It's a beautiful week. Yeah, it's a beautiful week. And yes, it is 12 days to the Book Bingers Booth 2026. Have you gotten yourself seated in? As of today, we have Book Bingers. Oh, thank you for the compliment. Somebody's complimenting my look. Thank you. As of today, we have Book Bingers across 9 nations who are ready to up their reading in 2026. So don't be outside, get yourself in. But today we want to have a very personal heart-to-heart conversation, because even yesterday I got a message. People keep sending me messages. I'm motivated. I want to read. It's something I love to do. I want to achieve this goal, and it keeps going on and on and on. What they don't realize is that motivation does not help your reading. So I will show you why this happened and how to fix it. Motivation alone won't make you read consistently. It will not. Your brain does not follow feelings. Your brain does not follow emotion. So motivation, interestingly, is emotional. It is based off of feelings. And your brain doesn't work that way. Your brain, interestingly, works with momentum, not feelings. Momentum, not feelings. What you want to do now is to hit the subscribe button if you're just hearing me, hit the like button, share this live with somebody. That person that just the way you are doing motivational reading, maybe the person is also in that space where what they're doing is motivational reading. They are motivated, they read. The day that it feels like they're not really that into it, that reading is not really looking like something they really want to do, they won't read. Share this live with that person so that as you are also getting this knowledge, they are getting it as well. Now, the truth is that motivation is based on feeling, is emotional, it cannot do anything. Today, we're uncovering a truth that most busy professionals have never realized, but it's been a question they've desperately asked. Hi, Irene. Hello, everybody. So good to see you here. It's a question they've always asked, but they've not been able to, please give me a minute, they've not been able to get the answer. It's a question in their heart. They're looking for a way. It's a truth most busy professionals have never realized, but desperately need. The truth is that if motivation were enough, you would have finished every book you started this year. Think about it. Let me know in the comment section where you're joining from. It's so good to see you all here. If motivation were enough, truth be told, you would have finished all the books you started this year. So if you haven't finished the book you started this year and you built it on motivation, then I hope that you realize that motivation is never enough. We're going to get into the conversation. I can't even wait to share with you. Please give me a minute. Let me fix this. Okay, thank you. If motivation were enough, you would have finished every book that you started this year, but your brain doesn't follow motivation. Interestingly, your brain follows momentum. Write it down. My brain doesn't follow motivation. My brain follows momentum. So that's why I don't believe in New Year resolution. I believe in New Year systemization. I'll say that. Personally, I don't believe in New Year resolutions. I believe in New Year systemization. Anything you want to be able to do more of, whatever goal you want to achieve in the new year, then systemize it. Build system around it. You want to achieve reading goals in 2026, then systemize your reading. Get into the book we just wrote. Get into a system where you can actually achieve those reading goals, not to set New Year resolutions without doing New Year systemizations. What you should do is New Year systemization. What is in my system that I need to work on? What do I need to think of? What do I need to add? That's how to achieve goals in the new year, not to do New Year resolutions. Your brain does not follow motivation. Thank you, loving. Your brain follows momentum. Before you blame your schedule, I need you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, why do I start books with excitement? Permit me to say, with motivation, you start books. Ask yourself this question, why do I start books with motivation? I start books with excitement. I start books looking happy, only to lose steam a few pages in. The motivation is gone because motivation is fleeting. It doesn't get you to the place where you want to get to. Why do I make big promises to myself? Big promises like I'll read 50 pages today, I'll do 30 pages tomorrow. But then when the weight of life's demands come, you just collapse. Or your reading goals just collapse. Ask yourself this question. Ask yourself, why does motivation feel like unrealizable? Why is it that motivation is unreliable? I beg your pardon. Why is it that motivation is unreliable? I can't trust it. Why is it that small, consistent actions now appear like they can help better? But when they are inconsistent, it's as if it is harder. But when you make small, consistent efforts, they become small, consistent actions. They feel effortless. For instance, you just say to yourself, instead of me to say this book, I want to read it over the Christmas holiday, I'll just take one day, I'll just sit down. And a professional wrote to me today, she said, I listened to your video over the weekend. And you talked about if we want to pick back our reading. So that was an amazing session I had, by the way. On Saturday, I talked about 7 reading habits that truncate your reading when you want to come back. So, and then I said, don't start big, because when you start big, you will not finish it. And a professional reached out to me and she says, okay, so I've been listening to you. I want to read more. But there's this book I want to read. And this book I'm supposed to have done it years back. But I've not been able to do this book. And it is bothering me now because I want to pick up that book and read it. And I said to her, I think. Okay, no, in the video, I had mentioned that if you want to pick up your reading, you must pick up with a small book. With a book that is not voluminous, that is not going to cost you so much time until you find your momentum, then you can now move with the more voluminous books. And she said, this book has been there. I need to do this book. I need to read it. And I said to her, I think you should work on small, consistent efforts, actions. These can go off as effortless and give you more results than looking for one day that you pick one big book. Okay, so if you pick that big book and you do it over this Christmas holiday, what happens next year? What happens in March when you have to deal with deadlines from work, parenting deadlines everywhere slamming you front and back? What happens? Today I'm going to be showing you why motivation fails, and most importantly, I'm showing you a tiny fix that makes reading stick, become effortless, even on your busiest, most chaotic days, using 2 simple acronyms. Now, I love to do acronyms a lot, and I think it's been long I did acronyms here on this line. So I want to do the acronym motivation to show you why motivation fails, and then I'll use the acronym fix to show you how you can fix that. If you're ready, put the comment section for me. Ready? I'm about to blow your mind. Let me have that in the comment section. Ready. Let me see you ready in the comment section. Sorry. All right. Why motivation fails? Motivation fails and mood dependent. Motivation fails because motivation is mood dependent. M. So we're using the acronym motivation. M stands for mood dependent. Motivation fails because it is mood dependent. Motivation rises and falls with your emotions. So when you are tired, when you are stressed, when you are distracted, motivation disappears. So the first reason why motivation fails is because motivation is mood dependent. Thank you. Mood dependent. Think about the time you promised yourself, I'll read more books this year. Think about that time. You said to yourself, oh, this is the time I'll read more book. This holiday I'll do more. I'll achieve this. I'll do that. You set those goals for yourself. But because motivation is mood dependent, after a long day, you lie down under your couch, next thing that comes to your mind is TV. You are actually in the mood to do something that is not reading because motivation is mood dependent. Or your phone takes over that evening that you said I was going to read that evening. Your phone takes over it. Your brain simply follows your emotional state, not your goals. Please, don't think that you have a new brain when you have a new year. Write it down, busy professionals. New year does not equal new brain. It doesn't even equal a new you. Interestingly, let me say this. New year does not equal new you. It does not equal new strategy. It does not equal new brain per se. No. If motivation is what you want to use, I say, this new year, in fact, I've motivated myself. Motivation is mood dependent. Motivation is mood dependent. Once tiredness comes in, once stress comes in, once distraction comes in, once the hustle and bustle that the year will bring by March 2026 comes in, you'll never remember that book. So motivation is fleeting because it's mood dependent. Oh, I'm using the acronym motivation to walk you through why motivation should be dropped, and then I'll use the acronym FIX to show you how to fix it. Are you ready? Oh, overwhelming promises. One bad thing about motivation is, apart from the fact that it is mood dependent, which is bad for you. Thank you. New year doesn't equal new me. Yes, truth be told. Apart from the fact that motivation is mood dependent and bad for you, motivation is equally a place of overwhelming promises. Big goals feel heavy. Imagine you feel motivated to finish a 400-page book in a weekend of 2 days. This alone is enough to trigger stress, is enough to cause procrastination, is enough to make you feel eventually guilty when you don't achieve them. Do you know, on Saturday, one of the things I talked about, one of the habits killing busy professionals and their reading goals is guilt-based reading. And I said, the moment guilt walks into the room, consistency is key. You cannot build commitment and consistency from the place of guilt. You have to be able to, you can't connect when you're feeling guilty. And when I said it, a friend of mine reached out to me and she said, do you know that every time I am a few minutes late to church, I disconnect from service? I said, what you said on Saturday is truer than the truth. I said, oh. She said, because she had to narrow it down to even church service. She said, it happened to me yesterday on Sunday. She said, I went to church a few minutes late. She said, it was so bad, and I kept on remembering your voice that, oh, guilt hampers connection. She said, it got to a point I had to just shut my eyes and I said, Holy Spirit, please help me concentrate in the service. Because I don't feel connected. I feel guilty that I came in late. And she said, it's even by the grace of God. For once, I felt at home in church even when I showed up late. Now, this is not to say show up late, but I'm trying to use this to buttress the fact that once there's overwhelm, once there's guilt in the process, commitment is lost, connection is lost, consistency is lost. And so because of that, you cannot rely on motivation, because what motivation does to you is motivation makes you make overwhelming promises. You begin to say things like, oh, this book, I'm motivated. The way Coach Leslie talks about reading, I just thought that, so I didn't know, I heard that Elon Musk built Tesla cars by books. This Christmas, I'm going to read. I'll just take 2 days, I'll shut down, I'll do it. You are reading from the place of guilt. And once you rely on guilt, you get motivated. instead of systemizing that habit you want to achieve. So don't get motivated. Get systemize something. Don't get yourself to be motivated to do it. Now, once you do that overwhelming promise, imagine a student. Just imagine a student that's trying to pass an exam, and then he crammed 3 textbooks overnight for an exam. After that experience, you know what will happen? This person will feel threatened by book. I've been talking about reading trauma for quite a while now, and I know the messages I've been getting. I know the emails I've seen to say, coach, I was traumatized in school. I'm that person that was made to read voluminous books in 3 nights, and ever since I finished school, I don't want to read. Interestingly, on Saturday when I was having this conversation on a live stream, you know, we go live on Saturdays at 7 p.m. West African time, Mondays to Fridays, 1 p.m. West African time. And I was having this conversation, and I said, A-star students are even more prone to reading trauma, a different kind of reading trauma. Now, B, C students may have their struggles, but I feel like the A-star students, I know, scratch that, not like I feel. I've come to realize that the A high flyers, they're even more prone. And a professional said to me, she said, I am a mom. And when I found that what you're saying is true, she said, my A-star son that came out A-star from school, he doesn't want to cite a book ever since he finished school. Guess what happened to him? He was motivated. But motivation is because it makes you make overwhelming promises. Let's go to T. T, temporary burst. Temporary burst. Now, what happens when you're motivated to read a book is that you just have temporary burst. So motivation sparks action, but it's only for a moment. It's only for a moment. It doesn't last. The fire is everywhere. Oh, you carry this book. It's rarely sustained. It's like lighting a match. You know when you strike a match, right? You see bright, intense fire. But guess what? It is just short-lived. That's how motivation is. That's how motivation is. It requires, yes, T is temporary bursts. That's how motivation is. Temporary bursts are short-lived. But you see, when it comes to something like a habit, which is your desire, you want to build a reading habit, don't do it on motivation. A reading habit requires slow burning flames, not firecrackers, not matchsticks. A habit that will be sustained, a habit that will live long, would require you to build slow burning flames. So how do you move? You join the book benches move, slow burning flames. We guide you to say, okay, don't pick a book that is above this number. You're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome, ma'am. So good to have you here. Thank you. Okay. So you need to go slowly, slowly, slowly. Let's go to I, internal pressure. Internal pressure. Dear busy professional, let me tell you this truth. There's something motivation does to you. You're getting motivated. I want to read more books this year. 2026, they will see me. I will read more books. Let me tell you. Motivation gives you internal pressure. Guilt. Guilt-based reading never lasts. Trust me, I've worked with busy professionals long enough to know that most of them come from a place of guilt-based reading, and it doesn't last. Why? Because it gives internal pressure. Motivation creates guilt when you fail to act. So when you start off with motivation, you're not in a system that is giving you step-by-step journey. You say, no, I can read on my own, I can do it on my own, so I'm motivated, I'll move. Now you move. What happens is that there's an internal pressure. A pressure to perform. And when you can't act, you feel guilty. You feel lazy. You feel uncommitted. You will begin to judge your own identity and capacity. You get to a place where you are no longer disciplined enough by this circle. So did you see where the circle starts from? Motivation. Motivation takes you to internal pressure. Internal pressure takes you to failing, of course, because with that internal pressure, you're not going anywhere. It will be short-lived. So that happens then. You now start pushing yourself to perform, so you now start doing guilt-based reading. From that, You fall off the commitment. You begin to feel lazy. You begin to feel uncommitted. You now fall into a place of, oh, I am indisciplined. I am undisciplined enough. I cannot help myself. You start saying those words to yourself. Your identity begins to chip off. You know, as a confidence coach, my job is to help you master confidence management. To smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking. I can tell you that how you read is one of the greatest determinants for how you see yourself, for how your confidence will be built. So whether you read or not, it's actually playing on your confidence. And it shows. In the moment when the CEO calls you and says, okay, yes, Sarah, let's hear you, and you black out. Why? Your mind told you, don't even open your mouth and say anything again. You know yourself. Don't say anything. So motivation gives internal pressure. V, I'm using the acronym motivation to talk about why motivation doesn't help your reading habit in any way. So I've taken M and I said M is, okay, mood dependent. I was trying to see some of these comments. Mood dependent. And O, I said O is overwhelming promises. Overwhelming promises always come out of motivation. And then T, temporary bursts. Okay, motivation gives you temporary burst, more like you're striking a match and there's no real fire after some minutes to go off. I, it causes internal pressure. Now V, it varies daily. Motivation is not sustainable because it's not dependent. It is not static. It varies daily. Some days you are motivated, other days you are not. So what happens on the days that you're not motivated? No reading. Habits, interestingly, write this down. I want to say it in the comment section. Habits can't rely on variability. There's no habit. Do you know that including the habit of scrolling through your phone, it's not dependent on variability. It's something you do for sure. Every day you must start check what's on Instagram and what's on Facebook. You built this habit. You didn't know, but it's not like dependent on variability. Now, your reading has to be curated. If you leave it, it will fall on variability. There's no habit that can be sustainable when you build it on variability. No. So your reading habits can be dependent on variability. A rainy day, you will not read. A late night, you can't show up on your table. Or an unexpected meeting. Someone just comes on your door and you say, I didn't know that Kule was going to show up at my door. So when Kule showed up, when I went out for boys out and then you derail on the most determined plans just because you left your reading to motivation. The V in motivation stands for varies daily. Motivation varies daily. It's not sustainable. You can't use it. It's not trustworthy. A, attention shifts. Attention shifts. Now, this talks about notifications, emails, family demands. When all of these start coming on you, what will happen is that life will hijack motivation. Before you even finish a page, the business, the realness of life will hijack it. Your brain is constantly evaluating reward and effort, not motivation. Not motivation. Motivation alone never wins. What your brain will checks out for is effort, reward. Effort, reward. Now, because motivation is varying, it's not stable. There's no system of a systemized effort and reward that is ongoing. What will happen is that the attention will shift. So your attention on books will shift. That's all happen. That's all happen. T, tied to willpower. Motivation leans on willpower. It is wrong. It's not good for you. It's not what you can use to build a daily life of reading every single day, all year round. You can't do it with motivation because motivation is is both a bad servant and a bad master. Because it's tied to willpower. Motivation leads to willpower. And willpower is finite. The adult brain has a limited reservoir. So your willpower is not infinite. No, interestingly. Your willpower depletes throughout the day. When willpower is gone, motivation dies. So you can't do it. Your willpower is not infinite. Don't say this like, I'm a very strong person. I'm a strong person. Do you know recently I was reading the story of King, I think it's the king, Esther's husband. And I said to myself, this man that could not sleep and woke up and said, we must God Mordecai. What has been done to him? And to Mordecai, it looked like this king, such a kind man. This king, this show Mordecai favor. And because he was used a man, that man was used. However, let's remember that it's still the same man. It is still the same king who his friends convinced him to chase his wife away over an offense. And he did. Still same friend advised him pick another girl. And he did. So do we want to say his willpower? Do you want to say it was his will to be that kind to Mordecai? Of course not. Even at his level as a king. That's why you say there's a king. Infinite. It is finite. It will get to a point where it will break. It depletes throughout the day. When you had a day where your toddler had to go to the hospital, your older child is juggling exams, you had a day of 3 hours board meeting at work, all of this juggling happening inside of you, your willpower will deplete by the end of that day. And when willpower leaves the room, motivation dies. So we don't wait for willpower. We move and willpower will meet your way. I isn't actually motivation to show you why motivation fails. Immediate reward lacking. So the thing about motivation is that it lacks immediate reward. Reading often doesn't give you instant gratification. And what motivation seeks is an instant gratification. So if there's none, motivation will fail. It will fail. Because the truth is, reading does not give you instant gratification. No. So even when I talk about things like speed of thought, when I say read every day, or it was my mentor that said it. She said, read every day, and that's how you hack speed of thought in all areas of your life. Truth be told, right? You don't read today and get speed of thought right now. No. You want to say to book readers, and when they come and start sharing their testimonies, somewhere between February, March, and they are paying, and they're like, oh, this happened at this meeting, and this is how I was able to respond. Oh, this was a challenge that happened to me, and this was my response. Oh, I think this speed of thoughts that Coach Lacey talks about is beginning to happen to me. Now, the thing is, this is happening, it's real. However, it is not instant. And that's where motivation cannot survive, because motivation does not function without instant gratification. Motivation works with instant gratification. What is happening now? Let's give it an immediate reward. You might read 10 pages, but the payoff is a long-term knowledge. It's not an instant dopamine kind of thing. That's why most of us buy books and we don't read them. Because buying books gives you instant dopamine hike. Like you feel good. Especially when you enter that bookstore and everybody's on the line where they're buying other things. You're the only one on the bookstore line. You feel good. You're like, look at me. Book lover. I'm still that girl that still buys books. Thank you. Thank you. Go and read them. The books you buy don't give you wisdom. It's the books you read that give you wisdom. But the truth is, you cannot rely on motivation, because motivation prefers small, immediate wins. That's why scrolling social media is sweet or sweeter than reading books to the average busy professional. So that's why when they come and they tell me, I'm too busy, I say, no, you're not too busy. You're not too busy. You're relying on motivation. You're relying on motivation. I is immediate reward lacking, like I said. Now let's go to how outcome focused. Motivation fixes on results. I'll finish this book. I'm done with this book. I'll finish this book. It doesn't focus on process. Now, something like a reading habit is about your process. Your brain judges the enormity of the task when you are focused on outcome. Now, what happens with that is that your brain now says, this is too risky. Avoid it. Avoid it. Avoid it. But what a sustainable built reading habit does for you is that it helps you focus on the process. So regardless of what the outcome is, you're focused on the process. You're like, oh, I want to read Psychology of Money because this book will help you walk through the process of mastering money. Mastering money in such a way that by the time I'm done mastering money, I'll live above debt. I'll become a wealthy person. So that kind of focus on the process will make you read the book. And I tell you, a book binger in the UK reached out to me and she said, I was heavily indebted. I did not know. But she said in the month where we're doing finances, because hey, yes, in the book bingers book, every month in the year is themed according to all of the 12 most important areas of the busy professional's life. So one of the areas is finances. And we do finances one month in the year. And she said, I was done with Psychology of Money and 3 other books on finances. And now this is a super busy professional in the UK, by the way. She's a health professional in the UK. Super busy. And she said, by the time I was done, I returned my credit card. I returned it. And I said, I don't need any more credit card. She said, they tried to convince me when I did. But I did. Because I had now mastered money. Again, motivation cannot get you there. Imagine that she was waiting on motivation to finish that book. She won't finish it. She'll finish it. She'll say I'm busy. She say I'm me. Do you know the life of a health professional in the UK? No, I cannot. I cannot meet up. I come back tired. My busy schedule. That's what she'll be saying. However, when you have built a reading habit, when you have gotten into a system that prioritizes the process of reading a book, not the outcome of finishing number of pages, you'll be able to move. You'll be able to move. I'm now focused. The book of this week, I'm reading the book, basically Becoming the Confident Woman by Wendy Amani. And for me, this is one of my busiest weeks. This week is very busy for me. I have a lot on my table. However, I'm not focused on the outcome. I want to finish number of pages. I want to say I've done this book this week. No, it's about the process. So the process drags me there. The process drags me there. Let's go to the final one, N, before I show you how do you fix it. Okay? N, not automatic. Motivation requires conscious effort. Habits thrive on automaticity. Do you know how automaticity works? I have a particular time I do my exercise daily. Do you know that's automatic? I don't think about it. I just see myself doing it. Automaticity. You don't even know that the habit of picking your phone and checking Instagram first is already automated. Motivation is not automatic. And a reading that is not automatic cannot stay, can't survive. Can't survive the whole year. No, you can't. You can't. I was doing this, the team and I was doing a study I beg your pardon, on the professionals who have been able to throttle this journey since the beginning of the year in our inner circle program. And guess what we saw? We saw that the busy professionals who automated, that's something that happens in the book we just read. We give you a system for automating your reading. Automate it. It's automated for me, so I can't go a day. I can't. It's automated. It's automated. And I've seen other busy professionals doing it. Imagine brushing your teeth. You don't rely on motivation every day to do that, do you? You don't. Reading can be the same. When you come into the book, we show you, we guide you on how to automate reading. Automate it. Imagine brushing your teeth. You don't rely on motivation to do that. Reading can be the same, but only if you build momentum. Get into a system like the book we just read where you build momentum. You see others doing it. Just think about someone who buys 12 books for next year. He starts each one with excitement. Guess what will happen? He will abandon 10. He will abandon 10 along the way. a common denominator